Hello everyone, welcome back to my video again. In this video, I will tell you about poverty and stability of food in Indonesia. The first topic we will discuss is poverty. Poverty is one of the determinants of the success of a country's development. Poverty is also an unsolvable problem developing countries, especially in Indonesia. Poverty in Indonesia is a complex problem. It relates to aspect economy, cultural, and other aspects. In poor countries, primary attention is focused on complex dilemmas between growth versus income distribution. This both is equally important, but difficult to achieve at the same time. Prioritizing one will demand sacrifice by others. As we know, third world countries that are quite successful in reaching the level of relatively high economic growth began to realize that this high level has not produced significant benefit for the poorest member of society. Indonesia is a third world country that also feels mission becomes an unsolvable problem. This is a huge problem for everyone. Everyone lives in this country, especially poverty, has an impact not only for the community itself but also has an impact on the country itself. That's because the people who are classified as poor doesn't able to carry out economic and social activities well. So that the government who must respond with policies and programs that can improve the problem. The government in overcoming this problem is always trying to reducing poverty in Indonesia is to improve all lines. One is by strengthening national food security. In Jokowi's government, a policy is strengthening through the purpose programs three food commodities, namely rice, corn, and soybean oil pajai. Food security is also a problem, one indicator for the success of the country development. Food security is a state or regional activity that can fulfill food needs to people well. The term food security in world policy was first used in 1971 by the United Nations, but Indonesia only formally adopted food security in policies and programs in 1992, which later became the definition of food security in the Undang-Undang Nomor 7 Tahun 1996. Oh, I forgot. The next topic is about food security, or as we know is stability of food in Indonesia. Food security is the main basis in realizing sustainable economic and national security. Food security is the main synergy and interaction of the availability, distribution, and consumption subsystems, where in achieving food security, alternative choices can be made, whether self-sufficiency or adequacy. Referring to the problems and programs of processing and marketing agricultural products, as well as food security strategy policies, or we know as availability, distribution, and consumption, and the success of the private sector, the case of Garuda Food, and the region's case of Gorontalo Regional Government, in the development of agribusiness strategic policies for the development of food technology can be formulated. The strategic policy covers aspects of developing technology qualifications, integration of processing and marketing, relevance and effectiveness of technology, granting broad autonomy to regions, private sector involvement, or selecting prospective commodities based on empowerment or a broad network development. The development of the partnership program begins based on the development of the processing industry-based Prima Tani program marketing. Okay, the first one we know is food security system. In general, food security includes four aspects, namely adequacy, access, security, and time. With these four aspects, food security is meant as a system which is a series of main components, namely food availability and stability. Ease of obtaining food and using food. The realization of food security is the result of the work of a system consisting of various interacting subsystems, namely the availability subsystem, which includes regulation of stability and continuity of food supply. Food availability concerns issues of production, stock, import and export, which must be managed in such a way that although food production is partly seasonal, limited and spread across regions, the food available to families must be of sufficient volume and type and stable from time to time. Meanwhile, the distribution of subsystem includes efforts of facilitate of the process of food circulation between regions and over time, as well as food price stability. This is intended to increase people's access to sufficient food. Meanwhile, the consumption subsystem concerns public education so that they have good knowledge of nutrition and health, so that it can manage individual consumption optimally according to the level of need. Consumption of food without regard to substance intake, adequate and balanced nutrition is not effective for the formation of healthy humans. Good immune system, intelligent and productive. If the three subsystems above are not achieved, it's impossible to build food security and consequently lead to food insecurity. Thus, the food security system doesn't only concern the production, distribution, or provision of food at the macro level, but also concern the micro aspect, access to food at the household and individual levels, as well as the nutrition status of household members, especially children and pregnant women from poor households. Although conceptually the notion of food security includes micro aspects in daily implementation, it's still often emphasized on macro aspect, namely food availability. In order not to ignore the micro aspect, this document uses the terms of food security and nutrition. Okay, the next subtopic is about food security development goals. The goal of developing food security is to achieve food security in the condition that food is fulfilled for every household from national food production, which is reflected in the availability of sufficient food, quantity and quality, safe, equitable and affordable as mandated in the food law. The next subtopic is about strategies for developing food security, and is as follows. The first one is increasing national food production capacity in a sustainable manner. or minimum of equivalent to population growth rate. Through intensification, extensification, and diversification. Revitalization. The second one is revitalization of the upstream food production industry, like seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, and tools, and agricultural machinery. The third one is revitalization of post-harvest and food processing industries. The fourth one is revitalization and restoration of existing food institutions, cooperatives, like SMEs and village granaries. The last is the development of conducive policies for the creation of food independence that protects food business actors from upstream to downstream, include the application of technical barriers for trade, or we know as TBT, on food products, incentive, credit allocation, and harmonization of import duty rates, official tax and unofficial. Okay, that's it. The next subtopics is about aspect of the problems and challenge faced government in achieving food security. The first aspect is food availability aspect. In terms of food availability, the main problem is the increasingly limited and declining production capacity and national food competitiveness. This is caused by technical and socio-economic factors. The first factor is technical factor. As we know, is decreased area of agricultural land due to rapid land conversion. The second one is agriculture to industry and housing, 1% per year rate. The third is agricultural productivity is relatively low and not increasing. The fourth is production technology that is not yet effective and efficient. The fifth is agricultural infrastructure like irrigation that did not increase during the crisis and his abilities are decreasing. The sixth is still high proportion of yield loss in post-treatment harvest, around 10 until 15%. Production failure due to climatic factors such as El Nino, which has an impact on long dry seasons in Indonesia, and floods. Okay, the second factor is socio-economic factor. Provision of production that have not been fully granted by the government. It is difficult to achieve a high level of efficiency in food production due to the large number of farmers. Around 21 million farmer household. Wow. 21 juta rumah tangga yang memiliki pekerjaan sebagai petani. With increasingly narrow and fragmented production areas around rate 0.5% per year. The absence of guarantees and regulation of price for food products reasonable from the government except for rice. Food product trade system that are not yet pro-farmer include import tariff policies that protect the interests of farmers. Limited foreign exchange for food import as a last resort for food supply. The second aspect is food distribution aspect. The first is technical factors. Inadequate infrastructure, land and inter-island distribution infrastructure that can reach all consumer areas. uneven and inadequate collection infrastructure, storage and distribution of food except rice, inefficient food distribution system, variation in food production capabilities between regions and between seasons require accuracy in managing the food distribution system so that food is available at all time in all consumer areas. The second is socio-economic factor. The role of food product marketing institution has not yet been fully implemented, both in supporting the stability of distribution and food price, the problem of security in distribution channels and official levies from central and local governments, as well as various other levies along distribution and marketing channels, has resulted in expensive distribution costs and increased food product price. The third aspect, consumption aspect. The technical factors. The development of technology and food-based industry has not yet been developed. Local food resource. The development of source-based alternative food products has not yet been developed. Local food resource. The second is socio-economic factors, high consumption of rice per capita per year. Cultural constants and eating habits in some regions and ethnic do not support the creation of a balanced food consumption pattern and nutrition as well as equitable distribution of nutritious food consumption for household members. The low awareness of the public consumer and producers of the need for healthy and safe food, the inability of the poor to provide adequate food in sufficient quantity, so that aspect of nutrition and food security have not become a major concern. The fourth aspect is aspect of community empowerment. Limited infrastructure and the absence of an effective working mechanism in the community in responding to food insecurity, especially in distributing food to people in need. The ineffectiveness of the community empowerment program, which has been top down so far, is because it doesn't pay attention to the aspirations, needs and abilities of the community concerned. The undeveloped system for monitoring food vigilance and nutrition nearly accurately in detecting food and nutrition insecurity at the community level. Limited skill and access to the business resources such as capital, technology, market information, and marketing facilities make it difficult for them to enter employment and grow their business. The last one is management aspect. The success of the development of food security and self-sufficiency is influenced by the effectiveness of the implementation of development management function, which include aspects of planning, implementation, supervision, and control, as well as coordination of various policies and programs. There is no guarantee of protection for small business and consumer in the food sector. With coordination and existence of an egocentric climate within the scope of agencies and between agencies, subsectors, sectors, government and non-government institutions, central and regional and between regions. Limited availability of accurate, consistent, reliable, and easily accessible data needed for planning the development of self-reliance and food security. Okay, that's it. My explanation about how can I say poverty and stability of food in Indonesia. Yep, that's it. If there are many wrong words for me, I'm sorry. And thank you for watching my video, and see you in next video.